Living History, World War II stories as told by those who were there.
Today we have the honor and the privilege of hearing the story of Seaman First Class Glen Johnson. Seaman Johnson was a sailor in a gun crew when his destroyer was hit by 5 kamikaze Japanese planes and forced to abandon ship during the Okinawa campaign.
My ship was in the invasion of Okinawa and happened on April 1st, 1945. After the invasion, ships took turns either being near the shore for bombardment or were put on picket duty. That means we were placed all around the area, some close to Okinawa, some close to Karemaretta. They were in a circle, and they used their radar to find any airplanes from the Japanese were sending from Okinawa or Japan. And on the 6th day, we were assigned to an area of picket duty next to a little island called Aishima, which is just northwest of the main island of Okinawa. And in the early afternoon, that was probably the greatest flight of Japanese kamikazes that they had left. There was many, and we fended off the first 3 that tried to hit us, but the next one hit us. So we had 5 kamikazes hit us from the mast to the number 4 gun. Some were Zero, some were Bettys. I don't really know all of the types that hit us, but they all had a bomb and they were loaded with gasoline. And so the damage was tremendous. I mean, we lost both fire rooms and both engine rooms and all the superstructure, both the stacks and all the torpedo tubes above the main deck. And at that time, I think we lost some 45 personnel. There was about 70. We had no power after about the 3rd plane that had hit us. So I was in the handling room. That's below the number 5 gun. And the guys from the magazine came up and we left. The number 5 gun was my gun, and that hadn't been hit. However, a friend of mine had been hit in the neck and his jugular vein had been cut, and the chief pharmacist mate happened to be near him, and so he was near the port side on the stern, and he held this young fellow's neck closed until he could get some more help, and he saved his life. However, the biggest share of us, we saw the last Japanese plane come in, the 5th one, was coming right at the fantail because that's where all the crew on the backside was. And so he was coming right at us, so most of the guys jumped overboard. We had a ship alongside of us trying to help put out the fires, and it almost sunk that ship because it hit the stern of their ship. It skidded across our ship. So there was around 70 some of us in the water, and I don't know how long we were there. I would guess we were in the water for about an hour and a half, and the biggest share of us made it to a life raft, and we clung to the life raft. It was full of people sitting in the raft, and then there was a line around the outside of the raft that people could reach in and just grab a hold of that line to try to stay afloat. 5 or 6 feet wide and about maybe 10 feet long, something like that. And it's mostly cork, but there's a netting of rope on the bottom of it and around the side, and a line around the outside so you could hold on. And so that's what we did. We held on for probably an hour and a half, and then we got picked up by a minesweeper.